Hi, RunRebs Live. I'm Mike Grimala. I'm here with Sean DeFrank, senior writer for Vegas 7 as well as RunRebs. We're 6 games in now, a good portion of the season. I wanted to talk mainly about the offense today. I think the defense has played well, not great, but good enough to win, and yet they're 3-3. I think the offense has a lot to do with that. I don't think they're where a lot of people thought they would be at this point in the year. 71.5 points per game. It's 217th in the country. 42% shooting from the floor, which is even worse, 237th in the country. I mean, what have you seen? What is going on? What's the issue for this team right now?
Well, and you also neglected to bring up the free throw shooting, which is among the worst in the country, almost rock bottom. So there's obviously some points being left on the table right there. They've had a lot of zone defense thrown against them. They struggled early on against it. They have shown improvement as the season has progressed against the zone. Kendall Smith, especially since he's come to the starting lineups, really matured a lot, has gotten a lot better against the zone. And Daquan Cook, not only from last season, but even from the beginning of this season, it has shown some significant improvement, and especially against the zone.
Yeah, Cook over the last 2 games in particular has been really good. I think we've got some stories up on RunRebs right now where his plus minus for the last 2 games has been great. And another guy I want to talk about is Bryce Jones, who I think most people would agree is the most talented offensive player on the team. I think a lot of people assumed that he would sort of take over that number 1 scoring option role this year. But to this point in the season, 12.8 points per game, 37% shooting, 31% on threes. What do you think is keeping him from producing so far? I mean, is he still feeling the effects from that injury? I mean, what have you seen?
From what he's been telling us, and it sounds like he's just now starting to get healthy, so that might be a factor. Hopefully his health isn't a factor from here on out. I think a lot of it has to do with just playing with a lot of new players and trying to figure out where they all fit in, as long as where he fits in himself. I think at times he's tried to do too much on offense and force his own shot when it's not there, instead of just letting the offense come to him.
Yeah, that's something that Dave Rice talks about a lot. Pretty much any chance he can get, he'll mention that Bryce is better when he sort of lets the game come to him. I think he did that more against UT Martin. That game, 16 points, 7 assists, only 1 turnover. He only took 10 shots, but 5 out of 10 from the floor. I think that was his best game of the season by far. And he's told me that he feels that he can be that sort of go-to guy. He wants that responsibility of being the guy that the team sort of looks toward when they need a bucket in a big spot. So, but he can't be the only guy. I mean, he's their best at creating offense, but who else you see can sort of step up? There aren't a lot of guys, I think, that can create their own shot on this team. I think that's one of the things that's held them back. I think Kendall Smith can sort of create his own shot. But besides those 2, I mean, who else do you think can step up and sort of make them a better offensive team?
It would seem like Jalen Kendrick's probably the most obvious one there. It seemed like it took him a few games to really kind of figure out where he fits into this offense, and we saw him struggle early on. But especially the last game, he looked a little more at ease. He took shots that were more within the flow of the offense. And that's a guy, obviously, a high school All-American, so a guy who's definitely got talent. I just think he needs to kind of figure out where he fits into the scheme.
That would be the guy that I would choose too. Jalon, I think we know what we're going to get at this point. He's a good ball handler. He has some ability to get by his man, get into the lane, which is a huge value for this team. Not a lot of guys can get their own shot off the dribble. He can do it. When he's making those in-between shots, when he's on, he can provide that scoring punch. He's not a great outside shooter, but I think yeah, he's the guy that you think that has the best chance to step up and be sort of a complementary player. And we have seen him playing down the stretch in close games. He's coming off the bench for now, but he's playing those minutes at the end of games. So I think you're right. I think that's the guy that we need to look toward to sort of produce that offense as the team gets going here.
Most definitely.
Yeah. All right, RunRebs Live. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Sean.